Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. Great to see so many of you here again. I'll just repeat, I can see about 3 or 4 seats in this side. If there's anyone who's finding it really difficult to stand, but I guess you'll probably just get in wherever you can make it. Well, again, thanks ever so much for coming to our third meeting that we've held here now at the Victoria Hotel. Can I just see how many people here tonight have been to one or other of the previous meetings? That's good. Good, and we've got some new people as well. Thank you very much. I'd say there's about 2/3, 1/3 of people who have been before and who haven't. Well, I hope you appreciate the timing. We fitted this in just before the World Cup starts. But I know you'll agree with me that the topic we're talking about tonight is far more important than England winning the World Cup. And it's even more important than Lowestoft Town getting promotion to the football conference, I tell you. That takes some saying, but it is. But for 3 or 4 years now, ever since Peter Colby produced what I think is an extremely innovative scheme, we have campaigned, and you have been part of that campaign in turning out to these meetings and in writing letters to the press and all the other things you do. You've been part of that campaign that has now pushed Suffolk County Council into taking some action. We have now some kind of a start in pushing a scheme forward. What they're doing is a study on the location of a third crossing. Now, before I explain that, I just wanted to say this. When I stand or sit at that roundabout between Lings and Asda, at the northern end of the South Lowestoft Relief Road, if you know where I'm talking about, drive round there, go up the stub, stand there and look. And to me, it's obvious where the crossing should go. You've got the South Lowestoft Relief Road. It's actually saying, in a kid's film, it would say, "Build me," wouldn't it? Build a crossing. And of course, the other side, you only have to go over the railway line, and then you've got the bottom of the Peto Way that comes past Wicks and all that kind of stuff. So to me, I don't think a study is necessary. I think it's obvious where it should go. But we'll see what you think later. But these are the 3 locations. There's the location on the right in red, which is called the eastern location, very close to the existing Baskill Bridge, very close to where the soon-to-be-built cycle and footbridge will be, right beside the Baskill Bridge. Then on the left, in the blue, the western crossing, sort of getting on up towards Brook Peninsula. And then in the middle, well, that's Peter's proposal. Now, the Lowestoft Journal has given us brilliant coverage of all this, but they did last week say it was a rival scheme. I mean, it's not a rival scheme, it's one of the 3 options. And really what we're wanting to do tonight is to explain that option to you, say why we think it is the right option, and listen to what you have to say about it. So Peter and I went to a meeting at the town hall where the consultants doing the study were asking people about it and sharing information, and they shared some information with us on traffic flows. And that's what happens if you have an eastern crossing. You see, the traffic with that still all gets sucked into the Station Square area. And this is the problem with our town. If you want to go anywhere, you have to go through Station Square, whether you want to go through Station Square or not. You might not want to be going anywhere near the town centre, but you've got to go through there to get to some other part of the town. So that is existing information that was there before they started this study, and I think it shows that particular destination is not the answer. So look at the next one. That's the western crossing, and well, that looks not too bad, but it's almost getting too far away from the town centre to have the real impact that you want. Let's have a look at the central one. And there you see, you've actually opened up Lowestoft there. You've freed up Station Square, you've freed up Bridge Road and Alton Broad. You've got a whole new way of getting through the town from which all kinds of other routes can branch off. Thank you, Piers. So to me, and this is what I came away from the town hall, that further proved that the central crossing was the answer. And I think, and Peter thinks, that it would be much better to spend the money really examining this scheme to see if it works or not. Try and, really give it a grilling, rather than wasting time looking at where the crossing should be. That's the central one as it appears in the council's infrastructure prospectus. Can you just blow that up a little bit now, Piers? The next one, that's it. So this is a close-up, and we went through this in the first meeting, but we've got new people, and that was some time ago. I want to just explain why I think this is such, and so many people think this is such a really good idea, this one. I've said it's in the right location, but what it does, it joins up the existing new road infrastructure, or newish road infrastructure that we've got. It joins up exactly with Tom Crisp Way, the South Lowestoft Relief Road. It joins up with Peto Road, the new piece of road that comes on the side of Normanston Park and past B&Q and all that lot. So it joins up those two. Those other schemes, that western scheme, you've got to build or do something to Waverley Drive, you've got to build a road way out to the west to pick it up. So that's the first point, it picks up the infrastructure. What I like best of all is this, it's a way to make sure you never get held up at the bridge again. Because when a boat is coming in to here, it's coming through this, you drive round here, and when it's in and going out, you drive across there. So you've always got a way through, a crossing, without waiting for a ship to go through. I really like that. The third advantage, and Peter will expand on this in his section, that crossing forms a barrage, which makes a major contribution towards flood defence for the town. The town will need more than that, but Peter will explain that. But that's a great contribution, and it saves money. Because if you're after tens of millions of pounds for a crossing, and then you've got to find tens of millions of pounds for a flood barrage, it's quite expensive. Money doesn't grow on trees. The other way round, if you build a flood barrage, quite expensive, but it's not a crossing as well, you've then got to find the money for the crossing. To me, it makes every sense to put two in one and save money, and therefore make it all the more achievable. Right, some people say to me, okay, very well, but I say this. If we can get this crossing in the right place like that, and you don't get held up, Lowestoft starts to become more of a normal town. A town where you can just move away freely. A town that's not divided. A town that can sort of be healed. Healing the divide. Some people have said to me, well, you've drawn a pretty picture, but it's a bit fantastic, isn't it? So let's have a look at the next one. There's one. There's one in Holland. Groningen. I don't know if that's the way you pronounce it, but that's one. We've put the red on just to pick it out. Aerial photograph. It exists. We've got another one. There's another one. That's what they have in Holland. So they can do it. Why can't we? And I'm extremely grateful to Peter for have this up and put this on the table and campaigned on this for our town. Finally, just about to close my bit, there's one worry I have about this exercise of finding the location for the third crossing. Can we have a look at the next slide, please? This is a close-up of the potential eastern crossing. And what worries me about this one, because you think, why would anyone want to build another crossing so close to the one we've got? Mad, you've got the whole of Lake Lothing to deal with. Don't put your gates next to each other. The worry I have that someone's going to come along and say that actually this isn't an additional crossing, this is a replacement crossing. And then the money is spent building this, the footbridge is in, and then this gets taken away or reduced to some tiny little thing that you can walk over or something like that. Now, to me, that would be a disaster, it would be wrong, it would be a betrayal of everything the people of this town have wanted for many years. For decades, the people of this town have said unanimously and with one voice, repeatedly, we want a third crossing. Down the years, various smart people have come to town and told us what we don't really want one really, you don't really need it, you're all fools. I don't think we're all fools, I think we know, and we're right. So I would be very, very worried if any momentum got behind this particular scheme, because I think we could find it, instead of getting the third crossing, all we do is get the replacement crossing, and we're really no better off. That's really all I have to say, except to say, to repeat, we hope tonight that, well, you'll tell us what you think, but we'll explain why we think that the Colby plan is the best one, the best location, the best solution. Peter will now talk about the other benefits of the scheme in terms of flood protection and town regeneration, and then it'll be over to you to tell us what you think, ask questions, or what you will. Thank you very much. This is Paul Moss from Waveney District Council, who's involved in a lot of this work.
Thank you, Bob. Yeah, just for clarity, at the end of June there will be a public consultation which will show all the broad locations as per the plan that's shown there. The clarity of the question you raised was that County Council's consultants engineers will be showing a simple bridge in the central location rather than looking at the barrage. What they've decided to do is to start with locations for the town to work out what is the best traffic flows, then any other further detailed designs will follow on for that. So I hope that clarifies that question.
Thank you very much. Now there was this gentleman all the way over there. I will get round to people, but I've taken it all from this side so far. So.
Firstly, Peter, Bob, thank you for the presentation this evening. I live and work in Roman Hill. The Church Urban Fund carried out a study that was published at the beginning of this year. 1 in 4 children there live in poverty. 1 in 3 adults of working age lives in poverty. 1 in 3 pensioners living in that parish lives in poverty. I have a request for all of the politically minded people here this evening. I don't care which council you're from. And Bob, I mean, no disrespect, we do a lot of work together for the people of Roman Hill. Switch off the political button. Keep it switched off. Work across party for the young people, the working age people, and the old age people of this town, and start now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That, I think, everybody with a round of applause would concur with that, and that's how it should work. We're working for Lowestoft, not for the glorification of anybody else. Lowestoft counts. Paul has pointed out the bridge option, and people are being paid to bring out a survey, not from down here, nice people left it away. Not that people away are not those people. But they're being paid, and I suspect they don't know, between 60 and 100,000 quid. I suspect that's what the survey costs, because that's what they roughly cost. They're being paid to tell us what we want. So they're going to have a meeting in the Old Folks Club. I'm certainly going to go because I qualify. Please, will you all do me a small kindness and go there and tell them what you think? You know, people power will work, and we do need the people to go and tell people what we want. I don't believe we need a bridge, because if you put a bridge, it has to open. It'll stop the traffic again, and we're back to square one again. I believe that, because everyone's gone, is the solution we want with the traffic system we have. Have I answered all of the questions that you have?
Can I just try and say in a nutshell? In a nutshell, on the flooding, look, what the council came up with was to put a flood barrier across here, which clearly, you know, if you stop the sea surge here, then you probably won't need so much walling round here. But the problem is, if your flood barrage is in front of the Baskill Bridge and it's only a flood barrage, I don't know what was being talked about there, 18 million or something like that, quite a lot of...
14 million.
14 million. You've got 14 million pounds on this and stuff, and then you've got to get your third crossing. So what we're really saying is, and Peter's done costings, is that flood barrage plus walling, even this one will have to have walling round here. This walling will all have to be there. But what Peter is really saying, we're saying, is that barrage here plus walling is cheaper than separate flood barrage and separate third crossing, and therefore more achievable. Does that answer your question, sir? More or less on flood theme? Peter, did you want to add to that?
As the viability of ABP, many years ago when my father went to sea, was, I don't know, something like 200 steam drifters, 80 or 90 trawlers, and they were using up here, and they were going through the bridge for coaling and various other things. Those days are gone. Bob was absolutely right. This now, the industry out here is pretty well derelict. Why? Because any ship that bursts on this side, any ship that bursts on this side, the transport to it, the 15.5-ton lorries, 15.5-ton meter lorries, the 44-ton lorries have to go across a tortuous route across here to discharge that ship, and then it will come back again. But we've cured that now, haven't we? And how have we done it? We put traffic lights at Commercial Road. Yeah. So if you ever had a ship of 2,000 tons, you need 200 lorries. Can you imagine 200 lorries? I do know a little bit about what I'm talking about, but I've got to 200 lorries coming across the road and then turning right. Lowestoft would never ever move. It really wouldn't. Well, it doesn't now. So, what I'm actually saying, we haven't got busy port. I believe this solution is a lock big enough to take every ship, because we can make this lock the size we want. It doesn't have to be a small lock. It can accommodate. We'll build the lock to accommodate the largest ship that can use Lake Louis. I believe this is a profit opportunity for ABP. Yeah. A profit opportunity to make their port work and exploit their port. I believe they should be 100% behind it.
And just one more point that we put to ABP is off this road, whether it's here or here, off the crossing, little link road into the port. So the port can get straight out to the south over the barrage without going all the way up Commercial Road and the traffic lights. So actually offering ABP a new, modern, convenient entrance to the port straight onto here. Now there's a lady her arm must be really, she's had her arm up the back for ages. Please. Yes, I know, but I thought he was recording it. He's got something in his hand. I thought he was recording it. That's why he had his hand up.
I can't remember how much you said that the council offices cost, which have benefited a few people, the councillors mostly. This bridge, this barrage, whatever that cost, would benefit the whole town. And I think the whole council should be completely behind it, and it should happen very, very soon, because otherwise the town is just dying on its feet, and my grandchildren aren't going to have a job.
Thank you very much indeed. What we would do, I feel like that, what's his name? Kilroy Silk Bloke.